Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Online Marketing Guys Show. My name is Steve Larvick, and I'm here to take you along as you learn how to make more money in less time while I interview experts in online marketing. Hi, everybody. This is Steve Larvick, your online marketing guy. I'm here today with Dr. Wayne Dorband. Dr. Dorband is a seasoned veteran. He's brought companies public in the past. He's an educator. He is someone with a wealth of marketing experience and knowledge, and has used the modern technology, proprietary software tools that use predictive marketing techniques necessary in the modern paradigm that we discuss on this show. As an introduction, first of all, I'd like to say welcome, Dr. Dorband, to the show. Thank you for taking time out.
Steve, thanks for having me, and I apologize up front. I've came down with some kind of a voice issue the last couple of days, so if I'm a little scratchy, I apologize for that.
Yeah, no worries. I think the change in weather everywhere, it's been messing with my sinuses. I know that here. It's 100 degrees here today in San Diego. Let me give you a little background on Dr. Dorband. He wrote the actuarial tables that are still in use today for environmental remediation, which is a huge engineering business, keeping companies out of trouble with the EPA, helping them set up systems. He launched the ATC Environmental Company or Corporation with a partner in 1979. You started that, I believe, while you were a professor at Augustana College. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
And he and his partner took it public, had thousands of employees in the 80s. He has since sold that business, and still, while working as a consultant for major corporations and helping them avoid problems or cleaning up after problems happen, what he wants to do now is give back to the community and the world. To that end, he is currently the director of an endeavor called Nourish the Planet, L3C, and his mission is to enable 1 million ecopreneurs by 2016. So that's all kind of a mouthful, Dr. Dorband. Let's start by, if you would, please explain what exactly an ecopreneur is.
That's kind of a word that we made up to use to describe an entrepreneur that's working in the ecological or economic area. So I thought you were going to ask what the word economic meant, because that's in there also.
You lead the way. You're the expert on this.
But that word was actually developed by Dennis Weaver, the actor that is now deceased, and it's the combination of ecology and economy.
McCloud.
That's right, McCloud and Gunsmoke. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Dennis was an amazing man who really cared about people and about the planet, and also about profits, which has got to be a part of the equation if you're going to stay in business and do something good for the planet. So the whole idea of economics, and Dennis used to say it in his cowboy sort of way better than anyone, so I'm just going to quote him. He would say, "We've spent millions of dollars and thousands of years screwing the planet up. Now we need to show people how they can make a little money making it better." So that's what our goal is to help people, ecopreneurs, make some money making the planet better.
Okay, it's a pretty ambitious thing to, if you had said 20 years ago you were going to build an audience or make 1 million people entrepreneurs in any endeavor, they would have probably said that's not possible. But the advent of social media and Facebook and the interconnection of the planet by social media, I don't think that's crazy. But let me ask you, how do you intend to go about building a community of 1 million successful people in this field?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking it, and you obviously understand the way that we believe we can do it better than most. So that goal was set in 2012, and so the initiation of that period of time, so really 2013 through 2016, was a 4-year period. And the goal was not necessarily to create 1 million ecopreneurs, but to teach 1 million people that could then teach others. And then you get that that duplication factor, the exponentiality of the fact that they say that every person on the planet knows 250 others by a first name basis. And that's probably not true for everyone, but if you take that as an average, and you talked a little bit about my actuarial background, so I tend to think in averages a lot. And then so that really means we don't have to touch directly, face to face, a million. It means we need to touch probably, somewhere around 1,000 or 1,500, and if they each have 250 connections, then that gets us, towards that million number. We have been quantifying how we've been doing on that, and so we're almost halfway through the process, and we're about at 100,000 that we believe we've touched. And you think, well, you're halfway through and you're only a tenth of the way there. Not really. Again, because you've got exponentiality involved here, and our growth today in those numbers is, dramatically higher than it was 2 months ago, and hopefully it'll continue to be exponential. And you said it. The only way we can do it is by connecting through media like we're using today, Steve, the internet.
Reason to doubt that you will achieve that. I have your website up here right now, nourishtheplanet.com. And folks, if you would like to engage in this project with Dr. Dorband, this would be a good place to come. Where else would I'm sure you have a list set up. Where would you like folks to connect with you, Dr. Dorband?
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for asking that. That we do have a little bit of a challenge as it relates to branding because our goal is to work with other folks, and so one of our primary business models is instead of charging fees to people to work with us, we actually will take profit interests or ownership interests in their businesses, and because of that, we've got lots of presences on the web. So this site is clearly where we probably try to accumulate the majority of information that we have. And so you saw as you scroll down the page there's several places you can opt in. You can schedule meetings with us, calls with us. There's webinars that are recorded that you can watch. Right there you're showing a place where there's talk to Wayne or talk to our staff. Obviously like us on Facebook. We've got Facebook pages for all of these ventures. But I'll give you one other website because it's one that'll really show Dennis Weaver a little bit. That's ecolonomics.org, so www.ecolonmics.org. And that'll be another site that has got it's sort of independent information. I'll throw out one that I learned from a guy you probably know of or have worked with, Neil Patel, up there at the top, that bar that has the header where it says, click here and we'll give you a book, so you'll see it. It'll go to an opt-in that'll allow you to get this book, which I actually helped co-author back at the start of the year, and we decided to make it just broadly available. And then we also we public labeled it, so it's got resale rights. So we're trying to encourage people not only to read it, we think there's good information there,
with that book that you promised.
Yep.
And your business model is to partner with folks and help them create a business and help them become successful and share in their success by being their partner.
That's correct.
Most folks would recognize Dennis Weaver. Some of the younger generation maybe not, but he was on television for three, maybe 4 decades, and in movies. And so you were a partner of his, I take it.
Yes, and ask people if they recognize this face on the cover here with the cute young man next to her. That's somebody you should even recognize, Steve. You're so when that picture comes back, it'll screen here.
This one over here?
Well, no, the one on the cover. the one on the cover of the website, and it scrolls through, so it's not there right now. But
Oh, I see right here. Okay.
the primary picture in a second. It's there. Who's the lady next to the little boy?
Oh, you mean on the Pez stick?
No, no,
Or
no, no. So you'll go back a slide, and I think you'll see it.
oh, is that Vivian?
No,
No,
no.
I don't. I'm sorry. No.
Did you ever watch the show Dallas?
Oh, yes, sure. Is that
That's Sue Ellen.
Sue Ellen? Okay.
That's
That's yeah, that's going back a ways. I was in. I'm not even going to say. I don't want to.
that's Linda Gray. So anyway, her
Yeah.
picture. Go to the board of directors up at the top. You can on the under about. You'll go to the board. It's over on the
Board of
left. Yeah,
directors.
board of directors.
You have a lot going on here, so I assume you use multiple lists to direct people to the right location.
Yes, we do. So Linda Gray's picture below there.
I gotcha. Okay.
Linda Gray is 71 years old. That picture was taken last year when she was
Wow.
70 years old. So you probably wouldn't
Beautiful
mind
lady.
looking like, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. Just a wonderful human being also. Jerry Weaver is 92. That is not a picture of Jerry most recently, but that is Dennis's widow. Jerry still lives in the Earthship home that they built for themselves in Ridgeway, Colorado, and lives alone. She has um, an assistant that comes in every day and just checks in on her. But it's pretty cool to be 92 and still functioning and living on your own.
Well, yeah, I mean that is amazing, and I had a crush on Pam. I think it was on Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. Pam was Bobby's wife. Sue Ellen was JR's wife. So
Right. Right. Well, let's look at this from the standpoint from a marketing end and how things have changed from the 80s when you had it's probably a Fortune 500 company at that time, and or maybe it's still now. Let's talk about that company a little bit. The environmental remediation company that you sold.
right.
What would you? I mean, I'm sure you couldn't even have conceived of the tools that we have now to market versus then. But could you maybe do a little bit of a juxtaposition about the difference between how you create a project now and how you would have created a project then?
Absolutely. At that time, we sold primarily face to face and over the phone, and then snail mail. Obviously, it was prior to the internet, and we didn't use very much of the latter. So our almost all of our selling was done face to face and through connections over the asbestos was banned as a building material. throughout the country. Then we followed up with that where drugs, drugs in animals, drugs in people, and a number of other things became involved as a big issue in the early 80s. And we followed that one. And a little bit later, lead became an issue. Anyway, we would just follow these issues and we would aggressively market to what we knew would be the marketplace, primarily using the phone, Steve.
Right. Let me interrupt quickly for those of you who may have just joined this. I'm speaking with Dr. Wayne Dorband. He has had a lifelong career as a remediation specialist working for environmental disasters, cleaning them up, consulting with companies to prevent them. He is now working on an initiative to give back by creating a community of 1 million ecopreneurs. How do you characterize that? They're ecopreneurs, or what is the other word you used?
Economic. So they're economists, much like you'd be a biologist or a chemist or a sociologist. So they're economist.
Economists. And so what we're doing is we're exploring the differences. He's also an expert in using tactical predictive marketing techniques using the new paradigm of marketing. He has experience with both the old and new dynamics of how to engage, how to build a business, how to build an audience using the same tried and true methods that have always worked, where you find trends in the media and you followed them back in the 80s. And I assume you do some of the same things today, but can do it on a much larger scale. Is that correct?
We do. We still are very aggressive in making sure we keep face-to-face marketing in the equation. So lots of connections with people at events and direct marketing to them. But today, what's different is that
DeGray, Jerry Weaver, Stewart, are these partners in this process?
hungry and starving and thirsty. So she has a visibility. Jerry Weaver is frankly the legacy.
community now? How long did that take?
Probably in total, it's 6 years. We started the Economics Initiative. Dennis died 7 years ago. I accepted the role to be president, and Scott accepted the role as chairman and CEO 6 years ago. And that's when we began to generate a list. But that list probably only grew to about 5,000 by 2012. So the vast majority, 95,000 of it, has occurred since early 2012. So 2.5 years approximately.
What Okay, so LinkedIn is primarily where you're finding folks, I would imagine, because they're folks who are looking for work, right? So it's
That's
business to
that
business.
is that is correct in a lot of cases. Yes.
And how do you use LinkedIn in your strategy?
Historically, it's been I actually personally stay more engaged on LinkedIn than I do in any of the other networks. So I have about 10 different groups that I try to regularly post on. And again, on LinkedIn, you can make it business related. It's not offensive to the following there that almost everything we post has a very specific business purpose to it. More recently, I was one of the original beta testers for the LinkedIn posting process. So you have the ability to do articles now on LinkedIn that they're rolling out now actually to the whole LinkedIn membership. And people, if you don't already have the ability, you're going to get it in the near future to write full-blown articles. So we've started to write more, 1,500 word, almost blog post type articles on LinkedIn.
Really depends on what your niche is and what you're doing, folks. Folks will tell you that it's all Twitter or it's all Facebook but your audience is wherever your audience consumes what they're looking for, not so much where you think they're looking. And the way to find out is to test. And I know Dr. Dorband is a master at testing. So if you would, sir, would you share with us how an ecopreneur or how any businessman would go online and start searching for where their market is?
Yeah, it's another great question, Steve. And we also are active on Twitter. We have two different um, icon, avatars on Twitter. One of them is called Dr. Economics. My nickname in the industry is Dr. Economics or Dr. Economics. So we have a Twitter presence of about 6,000 I think 6,000 followers under Dr. Economics. I also have one for myself that I think is around 4,000. I haven't figured Twitter out from a business perspective, quite honestly, even though I've more recently been trying to learn. And I think Twitter will become a great use. We also use Instagram a little bit, and we do have a Google Plus presence that I think is growing. But the way we test is really see if things we publish, and we try to publish across um, as many networks as we can. So using that term that's becoming more common, which is not tasking, but multi live right in the article. There's a link that allows you to get a free copy of plans if you become a member, essentially. using, the webcam mic. I'm using a Yeti mic, and I'm using that today also. Um, but you're right. I think people don't mind at all. I think they actually like it. I think they feel like they're behind the scenes. That you should see the way our live audience responds, Steve. It's amazing. They're really into it, and we'll get sort of spontaneous applause. And I mean, it's a lot like sitting in a studio with, where you're recording a network television show.
It really is, and I don't think, and I feel like people don't feel like they're being gamed or do this. You have to prep
to teach people to feed themselves, really. And we believe that about, excuse me, we have over 300 days of sunshine a year.
Thank you for joining the Online Marketing Guy Show. You have been watching or listening to a podcast, a live cast, a presentation of AME LLC Marketing Group, a limited liability corporation out of Las Vegas, Nevada. All rights are reserved. These episodes may only be republished with permission of AME LLC. Thank you very much for joining the show. We hope you have gained something from it, and we wish you much success.